everyone, and welcome back to the A-Sure Retirement Show. I'm Austin.
And I'm Alex.
And today's show, we're going to walk through Roth IRAs A to Z.
What an awesome tool in the toolbox to have. Whether you're gearing up for retirement or actually moving through the distribution phase, being able to access dollars tax-free, well, of course, there's real value in that. So let's start in 2025 terms. What are the contribution limits and what are some things that folks need to be aware of?
Contribution limits for 2025 for folks that are 50 and younger are going to be $7,000 per person. Now, if you are 50 or older, the IRS is going to allow you to make what is referred to as a catch-up contribution, and you'll be able to do an additional $1,000 for a total of $8,000. And again, that's for 2025. We do see the IRS generally increase those on an annual basis, so we're hoping that in 2026 we see another bump up.
That's it. The opportunity to contribute a little bit more to a tax advantageous account. Knowing that there are certain parameters around Roth IRA contributions from an income perspective. There are a few nuances that you all should be aware of. Austin, if you're a single filer, what do those contribution thresholds look like where maybe someone would phase out from eligibility?
So they base your Roth IRA eligibility based on a number called modified adjusted gross income. And for folks that are filing their tax return as a single filer, that is $150,000 or less in order to be able to make the full $7,000 contribution. Now, if you go above $150,000, not all is lost. They will allow you to make a reduced contribution up until the point where your income reaches $165,000. At $165,000 or more,
no
Alex,
go.
no more.
Go. Yeah, and obviously, if you're married, those limits are slightly different. So ultimately, if you make less than $236,000, no issues whatsoever. Can make full contributions. Here's another little tidbit. As long as one spouse has earned income, what does that mean for both spouses?
Yeah, as long as one spouse has earned income, then both spouses can actually make those Roth contributions.
Going back to that phase out, so 236 is that original limit. If you were to make over $246,000, Roth, again, contributions no longer part of the equation, can't be made given your modified adjusted gross income. There are a couple of little nuances that you should be aware of. Potential ways to reduce or adjust that magi. Austin, let's talk a little bit about a 401k contribution, an HSA contribution. Maybe you're a married couple, you've got about $250,000 of income, and you say, gosh, I'd love to be eligible for Roth contributions. What are some things that could adjust that modified adjusted gross income?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head, Alex. One of the ways that you can reduce your modified adjusted gross income is, in fact, making a contribution into your 401k plan. Because what that's going to do is it's going to lower that number, and that could potentially open up the eligibility for you, in fact, to go ahead and make that Roth contribution. There are other strategies that you can do to reduce what's called above-the-line deductions, and all of those above-the-line deductions will effectively help your Roth IRA contribution, which I think is a great segue to now talking about a strategy that we've covered before, but I think is very viable for folks that are in retirement, especially given some of the extension of our tax rates, and that is Roth conversions.
You bet. So from a conversion perspective, that's when you're actually transitioning some of your pre-tax dollars that maybe you've accumulated in the earlier stages of your savings years to Roth. And what we find is that the secret ingredient often lies within your marginal tax rate. Looking to take advantage of some of those lower marginal tax rates. The recent legislation did extend kind of the Tax Cut and Jobs Act that was sunsetting in 2025. So at least we know what those marginal rates are going to be, quote unquote, for the foreseeable future.
That's right. And one thing to keep in mind with Roth conversions, a lot of times on the surface, folks look at them as a little bit of intimidating because they have what is referred to as a 5-year clock. That 5-year clock pertains to each specific conversion that you make. So let's say in 2025, you convert a portion of your pre-tax traditional IRA over to a Roth. That has a 5-year clock. If you subsequently make another conversion in 2026, that conversion will also have a 5-year clock. But we want to reiterate that clock is only applicable to the earnings portion of that converted amount. And so essentially, if you try to take a withdrawal from the earnings portion of that conversion during that 5-year period, that's when the IRS is essentially going to ding you. But as long as you wait beyond that 5-year portion, to withdraw those earnings, then you're in the clear. Also, it's important to note that during that 5-year period, the converted principal is fine. You can actually withdraw the converted principal. There's no harm, no foul in doing that. And the way the IRS sets up the withdrawal order, you're actually taking out your contributions and your converted principal first before you even get to the earnings.
I think that is so important. What Austin just alluded to is that the withdrawal order is contributions, conversions, and then earnings. What that really means is that you have a lot of flexibility. In other words, don't lose sleep over the 5-year rule. Plus, we're here to help manage and mitigate that along the way as well. One thing that you should be mindful, though, of is the fact that opening a Roth IRA is incredibly advantageous because it starts the original 5-year rule of having and contributing and starting a Roth IRA. So if you haven't opened one already, that's something that is absolutely worth discussion. So that way you're getting that clock started, getting that time frame going, so there's more flexibility in the future.
And just to take it one step further on that, you can open the account, and as long as you just put in $1,
that's it.
That starts that first 5-year clock. And so if you're someone that started it maybe when you were just starting out in your working career, you may have already hit that 5-year period, and now it's just a function of getting to 59.5, where you can take out all the earnings completely tax-free. But making that first contribution, opening that account is something that we highly recommend.
No question about it. The Roth is a very unique tool. When used correctly in the right circumstances, it can be an unbelievable addition or complement to any successful retirement plan. Austin, are there any Roth highlights that you think we've left out or are worth consideration?
Well, I think step one is going to be evaluating your current situation, evaluating your surplus cash flow, what you're already doing within your 401k. I will tell you that Roth 401ks have become very popular over the last decade. For the longest time, employers only offered the pre-tax 401k option, but I would highly suggest that you determine if your employer does in fact offer the Roth 401k, and that should be considered in terms of your overall investment strategy.
And on the 401k component, I think there is a misconception that you can contribute to a Roth 401k and still reap the benefits of an employer match.
Yeah.
It's just that employer match will go to the pre-tax portion, where your contributions are going to the after-tax or tax-free portion. So you're not losing out on any matches. I think we've been asked that on a number of different occasions. So a lot of flexibility and options available to you.
And one thing I'll mention, you also can contribute both to your Roth 401k and a Roth IRA. Not very often does the IRS let you double dip, but in this instance, you're going to be able to do both. You just have to make sure that, of course, your income on the Roth IRA side is below those thresholds that we talked about earlier.
Ultimately, we just want to make sure that you are in the best position. That's what this is really all about. So if there are opportunities that you think you should be taking advantage of, or maybe just things that you need clarity on, that's what we're here for. Please come to us, ask those questions. We'd welcome the opportunity to be a resource.
Yeah, just below you'll see a link where you can schedule a time to have a conversation with us, and we're happy to walk through any and all details that are relevant for your situation.
Thank you again for tuning into the ACE Retirement Show.